time I didn't have a laptop, so I took my phone, sat down, took a book, and wrote the universities around me. Besides the universities, you write the courses they offer and the mode of studies. Very important. Those are the things you need to know. Number 3 is the school fees. What is the fee that they charge? What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, obviously, if you are a new subscriber, welcome. This is Doris Bonitah right here. And in today's video, like I promised in the previous video, that we are going to enter the Uni edition. So this is the first Uni edition technically, because I'm going to talk about the requirements, or rather how I transitioned to university, how I entered university here in Germany. Before that, I just want to prepare your mind. You're probably coming here and you're expecting a story of struggling, you know, how hard it was for me. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry to disappoint you. Fortunately, that is not my story. It is stories of other people, but it's not part of my story, which I am very thankful to God for. So like I mentioned, or like you probably know, because I mention God a lot, I'm a believer, and this played a very big role here for me. That means I am a really disciple of Jesus, and I don't move if he has not told me to move. So that played a very big part, a big role even in my, applying for university and all that. So quick story, I will preserve the other details for the LMD au pair show. And by the way, if you've not subscribed to the LMD au pair show, please run there and check us out. We talk about everything about our au pair journey and stuff like that. But right now we are just giving the basic information about the au pair and how you can apply, the countries you're eligible to apply to. So if that's something you're interested in, you're from the age of 18 to 35 and you're interested to come abroad, but you don't know what to do or which way you can use, au pair can be one of them. And definitely studies can also be one of them. If you want to learn about au pair, then please run there and check it out. But in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys a story of how I got to university in Germany.
We'll end up alright, just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime, surround yourself with open minds, people can change.
Well, it's a miracle, where there is God, there is a way, because Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Yeah guys, so I literally just applied. So I have this period of time and I was thinking on what I want to do. Unfortunately, stuff like with medical stuff is not my thing. So FSU did cross my mind, but I was just asking God which way he wants me to go to. Like I told you, I don't move unless my master tells me to move, and I moved to the direction that he shows me. It happened that uni was the direction that he showed me. So what I did, the first thing was to Google, just sit down, go check the universities around me, because I wanted to stay in the city that I am in right now. I wanted to remain here, or rather to stay here. I don't know if that's proper English, but I wanted to stay here. So that really meant that my options were also limited. I couldn't just, have a variety of options. Besides, it's also Germany, so you know that you need to speak German. And most of the public universities, they teach in German. Most of the courses, they teach in German. My initial plan was to do masters in psychology, because I have a psychology background in my first bachelor's. But the requirements were just too high. They needed C2 language, and I just didn't want pressure. I'm just one of those people who doesn't like pressure in some areas of my life, and studies is one of them. If you've been following me, you do know that I had zero passion about German language or even just any language. I studied German because that was what I needed to do to have this opportunity to come to Germany. So you do know that I was not going to take any pressure at that time, because I was, I think, at level A2 or B11, and I was just like, please, I cannot kill myself on this one. Jesus already died for me on the cross. I'm not here to suffer. So I was like, okay, that's not an option. Then the option that I got again was another psychology, but it wasn't pretty clear. I also needed to go through Uni Assist, which I tried, but it didn't really go very well. It wasn't easy for me. And then I just kept on. So what I did was I would go on a website, Google universities around me. I specifically wanted a university that teaches in English. And then I list them, like the name of the university and the course that they offer, and the language, the mode of studies, and the language they use in this course. How long the course took didn't really matter to me, but my heart was really towards psychology, which unfortunately I could not find. The one that they teach in English, it was just one, but it was pretty complicated, so I couldn't. So I was like, okay, the other courses that I found were engineering. I would have had more options if I was also looking outside my city, but I just wanted to stay in this city, so that was minimal for me. So I searched, and eventually I found a couple of private universities where they teach in English. But of course, the amount of fee payment also plays a very big role. What I discovered is what people say, that, Germany universities are entirely free, is not actually true, because you pay. Of course, it's cheaper compared to other universities, like private university, for instance, the uni that I go to. Obviously, public university is cheaper, but it's not for free. You pay at least 200, at least to my knowledge, that's what I know. At least you pay 200 euros. So there's an amount that you pay for maintenance and also for student leaders. Like how in Kenya we have, I don't know what the UN one is called, but in KU we had KUSA. So there's amount of money that goes to KUSA. So it's the same with all these universities, the LMU, TUM, all of these universities, they have a fee that you pay, and it's about 67 euros or some around that amount. So if you add every cost, you will have at least a minimum of 200 at least. So it's not entirely free the way people say it's entirely free. So I finally saw this course, and I also wanted actually a university that I can continue with the German language. That was my plan, because of course, for you to be successful here in Germany, you must speak the language. You must learn the language, So it's very important. For normal interactions, you must speak German. You must learn German. All documents are in German. Everything is in German. All public offices are in German. It's just that when you get there is when they will ask you, do you prefer English or German? And of course, if you look like me, then they will definitely ask you, because they know that you are not a native from here. But of course, there are also black Germans, yeah. Blamans, we call them Blamans. So I did finally have a draft, and I was checking out, okay, this could be a possibility, this one not. I also found another university, Munich Business School, but that was expensive. Kai! It was expensive. Like, it was, at that time, it was over 2,000 euros per month, and we actually pay fee per month here. not per semester like in KU. So it was about 2,000 euros per month. And you know, our semesters here are not normal. It's not like strictly 3 months in Kenya. For instance, semester would start from the sum, and then you also pay school fees even when you're on holiday. At least for my university, I don't know about other universities, but at least for my uni, you pay school fees even when you're on holiday every month, those months that you're at home. So the summer holiday starts from late March and ends in July. So all these months you have to be paying school fees. And again, when you go on a break, this winter semester starts in October. All these months that you're at home, you're paying school fees. So it's not that cheap. It's not cheap. Yeah, I finally had a list of the universities that I had, and I was obviously checking the school fees required and stuff like that, because that's also one of the key things that you need to check. So step number one, I said you sit down, take your laptop or your phone. That time I didn't have a laptop, so I took my phone, sat down, took a book and wrote the universities around me. Besides the universities, you write the courses they offer and the mode of studies. Very important. Those are the things you need to know. Number 3 is the school fees. What is the fee that they charge? And also the conditions, like what are their conditions? For instance, when I wanted to do the master's, I had to kind of like write a motivation letter, but in their specific way. They've given you how you should write it, and also academic transcripts of specific semesters, or like for instance fundamentals of something. You present that when you're applying, so you have to check that. You can also check if they offer scholarship for that course in case you are looking for a scholarship, because not all courses in a university have a scholarship. So you have to make sure that you check the courses that have scholarship if that's what you're looking for. So it's important to check the fee, when the semester starts, when the deadline of the application, of course, and the mode of studies and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that I really put into consideration. So eventually I just saw my university and I was like, this is very interesting. Number one, in fact, maybe this I should tell you why. I should do another video telling you why you should join my university. But one of the things that I liked about my university, actually it was the cheapest among the private university, because it's below 1,000. It's about 500 euros per month. And then it also had like semester abroad. So those are some of the things that attracted me to my university. And they also offered us an extra language, like you can do another language. Actually, the course is also taught in English. So if you're German, you can study another language. And for us who are not German native speakers, we chose German as the second language that we would love to study during this 3 years. And the course is also 3 years. Is more like 7 semesters, so an extra semester to compensate the semester abroad. And I eventually prayed through the process. I really just saw my university and I felt like the Lord was leading me to apply to that university. So if you're a Christian, your Christianity is not just to go to church, warm the benches, or sit. Like, Christianity is a lifestyle. And you can really save yourself a lot of stress if you depend on God on everything, acknowledge me in everything and I will make your path straight. That's what God says. So I felt the leading that God wanted me to apply in that university, because for me, it's not just, my life is not just to be in a place. I know I have a purpose wherever I go. So for me, the first bachelor's I did without God because I didn't have a relationship with Jesus. But this second bachelor's, I have Jesus. So Jesus has to order me where he wants me to go. You know, the steps of a righteous man are ordered by God. So he ordered me there, and I kept on praying, of course, to hear clearly, and eventually I was certain that's where I should apply. And guess what? That's what made the process easier. So I checked the requirements. Of course, when you check the requirements needed, you need to make sure that you have all those requirements. So I needed a knowledge, English efficiency later, which for us, like Kenya, we study in English basically from lower class to campus. So I found a professor of mine. I don't really know him very well, but yeah, I asked them if they can write me a proficiency later, just saying that English efficiency or proficiency, telling them that I did my first bachelor's 4 years in English. So I did that, and I submitted all the required documents, which I'm going to do another video telling you guys the required documents that you need to apply for university, to a university, and also to the Foreign Alliance Office. We call it Ausländerbehörde in Germany. That's basically how I chose university. I applied, of course, I sent the required documents, and the next thing I got a conditional admission letter from my school. And then eventually, after I provided now the last documents that I needed to provide, which I think was the insurance or something, and what else was it? I think the insurance and school fees. I provided that, and then they sent me the full now immatriculation letter, which is like the admission letter for me to start the winter semester. And I started with the winter semester in October. So you also have to check when the semester starts. If you're supposed to, if you're a fresh student, if you're a freshman, if you're starting in summer, or if you're starting in winter, according to what suits you. But most importantly, pray about every step. The mistake that we human beings do is not to involve God in everything, because you feel like, it's just school, I don't have to involve him. We only involve him when we want jobs and when we want to get married. But being in school is also just as important as getting married or as being in the workplace. And even when you're in school, you keep on involving him. Like, let me tell you a little story, yeah? So today I had a presentation, a business presentation. That's also something I like about my uni. We do practicals. We don't just study things for studying to pass the exams, but we are prepared for the real world. So I did a presentation today, and guess what? I presented about the LND au pair show. My prof was so impressed. I was so happy. But before then, this was my very first presentation. I've done a little bit of presentation, but it wasn't entirely my work. So I didn't really feel like I presented, you know. So this one is the real presentation with PowerPoint slides, and you're just, you know, sliding as you explain. So I became a little bit anxious, but before leaving the house, I was just like, God, this is my presentation, and you, like, if I fail, you fail. We ain't doing that. So I was like, Holy Spirit, we are going to present with you. So that's what I did. I just told him, okay, I'm not going to be nervous. I have the Holy Spirit. And before I rose up to go and present, I just told the Holy Spirit, you know what? I'm just going to open my mouth and you're going to feel me. Feel my mouth. Guess what? I had practiced before. I had crammed what I was going to say, like how the introduction is going to play out, how everything is going to come out. I got there. I could not remember the lines. And I just opened my mouth. I spoke, I presented. And then afterwards, according to how I was hearing myself, I was like, oh my gosh, you didn't do well. You had so many. But you know, the funny thing is no one saw it, including my professor, never noticed that. Like the mistakes that I was hearing myself making them. And I'm just like, that's the devil. So if you don't involve God in everything that you do, you're in trouble, my dear. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share if you've learned something, and stay tuned for the next video. We are going to do the detailed requirements for university application in the university and the basic, actually, because it varies from university to university. So the basic requirements and also the embassy requirements for the student visa. So peace out.